coming at y'all Wednesday, September 17th. This is week 4 of the NCAA football season along with NFL week 3. This is the Best Picks in DMV podcast. My name's Gabriel the Priest. I'm the main host. With that said, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. Instagram name's Best Picks in DMV. Follow me on Facebook. That is the same name as well. And then if you have any questions, feel free to email me at bestpicksindmv@yahoo.com. With that said, let me introduce my co-host, TJ Virgil.
What up, world? What up, world? What up, world? How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah, y'all already know what it is. Another episode, Best Picks in the DMV podcast. We here. How y'all feeling tonight?
Let me also introduce my producer, Ty Virgil. He also is the host of the 420 Friendly podcast, along with the Audio Alchemy podcast, and he's the creator of VMN, Virgil Media Network. But go ahead, Ty. Tell them who you are.
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? It's Tyrone. We here. Another great day. Welcome to VMN. Welcome to the podcast. We have a great day. Let us know. Inbox, photography, live streaming. We're getting back to AAU basketball. Just having fun. And yeah, I'm going to turn it back over to y'all. I'm going to work these cameras.
Yes, sir. But like I was saying earlier, make sure you follow me on Instagram. That's where all these plays become official. On Instagram, I give out straight point spread plays. That's for every contest I hand out. The goal is to go above 56.5%, both in NFL and college football for the year. Right now, the college football is sitting at 15-14, and the NFL record is sitting at 5-2. So we're off to a pretty good start, I'd say. We definitely got to improve the NCAA football a little bit better. But on the podcast, it's been a different story. So the agenda for today is, as usual, we're going to review last week's games and our plays and how they went. Then we're going to look at the 4 plays we have again for this weekend. Once again, on this podcast, we're giving out weekend plays. Those are games for Saturday, Sunday, and maybe even Monday. So just keep that in mind. But I still give out my official plays during the weekday games on Instagram, so make sure you follow that if you haven't. And also, like I said, if you're looking for the weekday picks, that's where they come, so definitely look out for them. Then after we look at those 4 games, we're going to give out the future or the bets for this week. I don't like to call them future bets because I be saying that, but it sounds like we're about to give out futures, like who's going to win the NCAA championship.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that for sure.
I got to stitch it out to just say giving out the plays for the week. So,
weekend plays.
I don't want to confuse nobody.
I like that.
But let's go ahead and review how we did last week.
Let's do it.
We had 4 games. The first game was Washington State at North Texas.
Yep.
We like North Texas, I believe, by 4.5. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the line went up to 6.5. The final score was 59-10 North Texas. So there's really not too much to say about this game besides that North Texas put belt to ass on Washington State.
Absolutely.
Like we were saying.
No, you said that last week. And the funny thing was, I remember it was like somewhere getting into like the end of the second half or whatever. I just flipped to the game, you know what I'm saying? Because I was flipping through the channels. And then I seen the score. And literally that you saying that I wouldn't be surprised if they was up like 2 touchdowns or whatever just popped into my head. And I was like,
yeah,
my man's was right. My man's was right. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I told him. I tried to tell him that fast-paced style, playing in that Texas heat for them Washington State boys because it was like 95 degrees that day. Mm-hmm. And plus, like I was telling you, Washington State has the Apple Cup this week, so it was kind of a look ahead at the same time.
For sure.
Like you said, it was 35-3 at halftime, so we didn't really have to sweat this game at all. I do want to shout out, though, that quarterback again that I was talking about. I believe you pronounce his name like Mestamaker. Yeah, I think Eric Morris, that North Texas coach who's in his 3rd year, really found a diamond in the rough. And I would definitely remember this guy's name because he's going to be a future star, I feel like.
Okay.
Whether he stays at North Texas for his college career or not.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah, he's going to learn a lot from this coach, just like Cam Ward did get, and continue to grow, and he's going to be special. But I did want to shout him out one more time before we move on. Now, the next game we had was Southern Miss versus Appalachian State. We had Southern Miss on the money line on the podcast. It was, at the time we gave it out to, was minus 105 on the money line. We called it a bad time because guess what? That line went all the way up to App State minus 3.5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw Southern Miss was plus 3.5 by game time, and instead of minus 110, they were plus 140. So, damn, if we had that in the parlays, it would have made a hell of a difference in the payout. But regardless, we got it where we could get it at. And I did give it out officially on Instagram that day at plus 3.5. So we made the most out of it.
Okay.
This game overall was a pretty comfortable cover as well. It was 17-7 at halftime. They then went up 38-14 and never looked back. I feel coaching and turnover differential is what really won Southern Miss the game, like I was talking about. Remember, that Marshall coach came in to Southern Miss. That Marshall coach won the Sun Belt last year.
Yep.
So he prepared them boys for this game and knew what it took. And they also won the turnover battle 3-1. So that played a huge role.
Yeah, very well prepared for this one.
I continue to look for Southern Miss, too, the rest of the year to kind of be a surprise Sun Belt team. So definitely make sure you keep them in mind as a dark horse. Now, the first NFL game we gave out was New England at Miami. We gave out New England. I believe it was like plus 2.5. But either way, we put them on the money line.
Okay.
This game was spooky, but amazing to watch. Did you see it at all?
Yeah, this was the they had to come back in the end.
Yes, they did a little bit. I told you I couldn't really visualize how that game was going to go necessarily, but all I knew was New England should come out on top for the reasons I gave last week, and that's ultimately what happened. But I will say after the punt return in the 4th, I thought it was over. That's when Miami went up 27-23. I was like, damn, this might not go that good. But guess what happened right after that?
Another score.
New England returned the kickoff.
That was a crazy little flip. Like I was watching Red Zone for that one, and like in my head, you hit why are they showing this again? Then you realize it's a whole nother team. It was literally the next play, and you're like,
damn.
Oh, nah, run that back.
It was a great thing that happened for us right there. It gave us all the momentum back right there. Mm-hmm. And then New England's defense kind of made the stops at the end on Tua.
Played tough.
Yeah, they really screwed themselves up, Miami. They were down in the territory. A 1st and 10 turned into like a 2nd and 20, and it just ruined
it went all downhill from there. Yeah.
And what was good about that game, too, is Drake May grew, like we were talking about. He had a nice game again. He didn't really do nothing too crazy, but he stayed solid and didn't turn the ball over.
Sometimes that's all you need to do.
So, yeah, he was a good game manager for sure that game. So that went well. And then the final game we had was Seattle at Pittsburgh. I think Seattle was like plus, what do we get them at? Like 1.5 or 2.5. Mm-hmm. It went all the way up to 3.5. And then, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really get that scared. I still gave it out on Instagram. I thought they'd still get the job done. But the game started off like I thought it would, if you remember me saying. Seattle started off strong. They came out, scored, got up 7-0, and Aaron Rodgers was struggling in the first quarter. Like I said, he probably come out flat after playing the Jets in week 1 and trying to get that revenge that he wanted so bad.
Energy.
Exactly. Yeah, but what's weird is Seattle had a very bad breaks go for him right before the half. They missed a field goal, I believe, and then on top of that, they had some like 4th and 1 in Pittsburgh territory, And
Fumbled it.
man, he dropped back and he threw it up. There was nobody to throw to. It was actually an interception. They returned it all the way deep into Seattle's territory, basically when Pittsburgh was doing nothing and A-Rod was doing nothing, and let him back in the game. So that definitely freaked me out. Seattle was plus 500 at the half to win that game, TJ. I still don't understand why. I know Pittsburgh was getting the ball in the second half. They were down 7, but, man, that plus 500 would have been sweet. I wish I would have put something on that. But either way, Seattle finished off strong. In the second half, basically, A-Rod struggled. The run game was weak, like I talked about last week. They really have no run game. I tried to tell you, too. I was trying to tell you about who they have come over. God, I can't remember the other running back's name right now.
Or Seattle.
The other running back for Pittsburgh. We're going to get to him later on. I don't want to spoil nothing, but I'm going to mention Pittsburgh later on and get to them. Oh, Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell. My bad. I forgot all about that guy's name, which I should because I don't think he's worth mentioning. I was trying to explain to you last week that he had 0 rushing touchdowns last week, but I never got to the number.
That's tough.
So they only have they have 2 running backs that's only have 1 rushing touchdown last year.
That's A-Rod. That's crazy.
I don't know what they're going to do in the red zone. I guess they just expect A-Rod to score, throw the ball. But
I mean, they got Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, right? Figure it out.
Right, but I think teams are going to find to narrow that down quickly, and then they know the run game ain't shit. So they're going to struggle. But overall, Darnold did great against that weak-ass Pittsburgh secondary, and Walker went off for over 105 yards. So that capped off a perfect weekend. Another the first 4-0 weekend, but another profitable weekend, back-to-back profitable weekends.
Gotta love that.
So let's give out a reminder of the games that we hit. There was 3 parlays we gave out. The first one's a 14 parlay. New England money line at plus 114. Seattle money line at plus 120. North Texas minus 4.5 at minus 115, and Southern Miss money line at minus 110. $20 paid $316. Overall, we got back $336.07 for that. The next parlay we hit was Seattle money line at plus 120 with North Texas at minus 4.5. That was at minus 115. $50 won $155.65. It brought back $205.65. And then the final parlay we cashed out on was Southern Miss money line and New England money line. But once again, that was New England money line at plus 114 and Southern Miss money line at minus 110. $100 brought back $308.55. $408.55 overall. So we profited a grand total of $859.82 and got $959.82 total now to play with. And once again, remember week 1 of the NCAA football season, we got down 100.
Yes.
We had to go to tie to get the 100. He let us hit up loan 100. We profited a little bit last 2 weeks ago. Got us back in the ball game, and now we're back to. Now we're where we need to be to really start rolling. Right. So we'll get to the bet section right after we dive into these 4 games, but we'll give them a little tease. Just know that there will be $500 worth of wagers these days. This week. So we will be looking for the big cash. Okay. Not only that, we're 4-0 so far in the NFL this year and 5-2 in college football. So you can't beat that.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, you can't beat that for right now. What's that overall? 9-2? Yeah, so we're doing some pretty serious things. I don't know what you're not doing. I don't know what you're doing if you're not taking these picks. I don't know what you're doing if you're not handing them out to other people. They'll bless you. They'll like you. You'll be a good friend to them if you just let them know about this podcast and let them know what's going on. Trust me.
Let them know we here.
And then
giving y'all free money.
Yes, sir. And remember, this ain't a sprint. This is definitely a marathon. So if we do get down, even just say this week, believe we're going to get it back and a lot more always. So let's get into the 4 games for this week.
Let's do it.
The first game we're going to do is in college, of course. Like I said, we hand out the 2 college locks of the weekend and the 2 NFL locks of the weekend. So the first game is Saturday at noon. It's North Texas right now, right now they're technically, I think I saw -2.5 at most books, but we got it on Monday at -1.5. Just a reminder, we get all our bets and our graphics sent to our producer at Ty on Monday. But the lines differ a little bit by Thursday when this comes out on YouTube, or Wednesday if you're watching this live. But you can still adjust, and if you have any questions how to adjust, feel free to DM me or even email me. But with that said, let's get into this North Texas at Army game.
We taking it back to North Texas?
Yeah, man. I'm going to have to repeat North Texas, man. You can't.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
Got to right now. They're not hip.
They not.
The market's way off for 2 main reasons in this game that I'm going to get to in a second. But Army has to replace maybe the best backfield they ever had last year. They were nasty last year, TJ. They went 12-2 and had a big bounce back. I mean, they went 12-2 last year, and then this year so far, like I said, having to replace the backfield, it got off to a little bit of a weird start versus Tarleton State. But they bounced back after that at Kansas State. I will be the first to admit that I did like Kansas State that night too. That I think they were 17.5. But I will give a little hint that I do think that why this line is out of whack is because they did come back that game. If they never came back that game, this line might be way worse. And I'll tell you some weird stuff about that game. I do want to say Army does have a good defense and had a great defense last year, but since they have only 5 starters returning this year, it might be a little different type defense, especially since they have a new backfield on offense too, which might make their offense struggle a little more, which might lead to the other team having more time of possession and putting more pressure on that defense at a time. So I doubt statistically that they're going to be as good as last year for real, because I think they were a crazy number, like 8th in the nation. And like I said, versus Kansas State, they looked pretty good, especially in that second half. So you might think that they're back, just like this line's thinking as well. But right before the half, there was like 2 seconds left in the half. It was 13-0 Kansas State. Army wasn't doing nothing. They got the ball down the field and literally scored at the buzzer and got the extra point. So it was 13-7 going into half. All right?
Okay.
Now in the second half, guess how many offensive possessions Kansas State had?
6.
Yeah, that would even be not that many. Less.
That's not that many.
I'm saying they had less.
Less than the 6 in the whole second half? Damn. 2? That's crazy.
They only had 2. Guess how long they lasted total? They probably had the ball total of like 3 minutes. Maybe bad. 2 minutes of change. That's bad. Yeah. So not only that, they did score a touchdown, but it was on a kick return.
Too quick of a score.
Yeah. And by the way, on those 2 possessions that were a minute, where one was a 3-and-out, and then the other was a 9-play, 1 minute and like 14-second or 50-second drive.
9 plays in the 2 minutes?
Yeah, because it was like the last possession of the game, so they were like calling timeout a lot between each play, 2-minute warning,
trying to get out of bounds and all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. But he ended up throwing in an interception, and they ended up losing outright to Army. But Kansas State is nothing like we thought they were either. They did look solid in Dublin week 0, but I just saw them get ran by Arizona, and they only beat North Dakota by 3 points. So was it? I think it was South Dakota actually. But either way, they beat one of them Dakotas only by 3 points total.
That is bad.
It is
either
weird.
whichever Dakota it was.
That's
North,
their only
south,
win
east,
so
or
far.
west.
But no, it was North Dakota. They beat them
Okay,
38-35. Who was
Okay.
5-7 in Division I AA football last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Keep in mind, like I said, Army also lost to Tarleton State this year. They lost to them in double overtime.
Which is
They turned
rough.
the ball over 3 times, which they didn't versus Kansas State. And they were also, I forgot to mention, against Kansas State too, they were 6 for 7 on 4th down. So, I mean, they got every break for them in own
That's
time.
a lot.
It was like a perfect scenario for them to get, a perfect scenario type game for them to win versus Kansas State. Everything went their way.
If you
But
get 6 out of 7 4th downs, I mean, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing?
But versus Tarleton State, they didn't have as much luck, and they were 1 for 2 on 4th down. But like I said, they turned the ball over 3 times. That's why they weren't really as lucky. So me personally, I'm predicting this Army team's going to play more like they did versus Tarleton State than they did Kansas State versus this North Texas team. Mainly because North Texas is just way too fast, and they don't really haven't, or at least so far, turned the ball over. So with that said, I told y'all last week about the freshman North Texas quarterback, Mestamaker. Okay, in the 3rd-year head coach that I was just talking to y'all about a few minutes ago.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That's your man's in them.
I'm telling you right now, they're going to have one of the most explosive offenses in the nation, especially because of the conference they play in, which is the American. So they're going to put up big numbers the whole year.
Okay.
Along with, they seem like they had a little bit of a defensive improvement so far. I mean, it's only been 2 games. They did hold Washington State to 10 points, though. So.
That's pretty good. I mean,
And
if we're comparing conferences, I mean,
exactly.
you know what I'm saying? Washington State should have definitely scored more than 10 just being
they
in
shut
the
them
conference
boys
that they're in.
down,
So, you know what I
bruh.
mean?
But in this game, I feel the North Texas quarterback will continue to grow and have success against this Army defense, who let up 344 yards total to Tarleton State. So the North Texas quarterback so far this year is 66 for 94 with 9 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. That's why I said they don't really turn it over. So I expect that to improve this week. I also feel the Army offense will have some success on offense against not the most powerful North Texas defense, but I expect Army to be playing catch-up this game. Like kind of like they did versus North Texas, but they're not built to catch up versus North Texas like a Kansas State, possibly. Because North Texas really doesn't stop. You know what I mean? They might slow them down or attempt to slow them down, but I don't know how successful they're going to be for North Texas to do that, to slow down. And I feel also like turnovers could be a potential factor here. Like I said, they had 3 turnovers versus Tarleton State, Army, that is. I didn't mention, but North Texas, I think, was they had 5 turnovers. Washington State had 5 turnovers.
Gotcha. Okay.
North Texas might have had 0 if not 1. But either way, they're +6 this year in turnover differential, while Army is -1.
That is important to know.
Yeah,
Very
I
important
feel
to know.
it really is. That's what played a huge role in that Southern Miss game last week. I'm telling you right now. So I feel chances are North Texas wins that battle, of course, this week. And if Army turns it over a few times early and North Texas capitalize, it could be over by the half like it was versus Washington State. This could be another easy cover, trust me. And me personally, I'm predicting they're going to be up at least a touchdown by the half.
Okay.
And Army's going to try to kill the clock, so they might not score as many points as they did versus Washington State, like 59, but it could be like 42-14.
I mean, that's still a good game.
47-10. Yeah, it could be somewhere around there. We're going to have to see how North Texas adjusts to this option deep. I mean, option offense, run heavy all offense, but I feel like they're going to be somewhat prepared, or at least prepared enough for their offense to really take over. So I'm feeling real good with the mean green. We're going to roll with them again to bring in the green, and hopefully everything goes well with that. So, with that said, we're going to get on the next game, game 2.
Game 2, let's go.
Ty's going to freak out on this game.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is a Ty freak out game.
Uh-oh.
UNC.
I freaked out with they played Richmond.
Huh?
They just played.
You watched it?
Yeah.
Who was you rooting for?
It was tough. UNC.
You still going with the Tar Heels over the Spiders?
I mean, it was tough. I couldn't
Man, he got the.
I know deep down he was hoping for the upset.
Right, you know what I mean? But still, UNC, that's my squad. But
Right.
University of Richmond,
They beat the hell out of Richmond.
they
You seen it?
they fucked them up.
You peeped that?
I saw
They
it.
beat the hell out of them.
Yeah,
So
they did.
that was not really surprising because Richmond ain't the greatest
Right.
football school, but
Right.
you know what I mean. But what's your favorite? What do you know the most about UNC this year, Ty? Who's the main headline there?
Damn. Coach.
Exactly. Exactly.
Him and his girl.
Exactly. And
Well,
that's
yeah,
what
that
I
is
was
a
gonna
wild
start
thing.
it off with.
Right.
Everybody knows the main headlines there are definitely that.
Yeah.
You know, week 0 was it a few weeks ago? Man, did they get humiliated by TCU.
Yeah.
And we saw sightings of the girlfriend communicating with Bill on the sideline. Yeah, that's one of the
They're
crazy.
back to cheating, bro.
Right.
Bro, they lost
That's
48-14 to them Horned Frogs.
The purple horn frog.
The Horned Frog. TCU.
But Bill did rebound and pick up 2 wins, but unfortunately they were to Charlotte, who literally could be a bottom 10 team. They actually play tomorrow or Thursday, or if you're watching this on YouTube tonight, they play Rice. So you probably can see how shitty they are. But both of those teams are shitty as well. But yeah, that's who UNC beat so far. That's Charlotte, and then they beat Ty's second favorite Division I AA. Actually, I guess it's his first favorite Division I AA football team, the Richmond Spiders. By the way,
Wait, what VCU at? The division.
nah, to be honest, not too sure how their football works there. I'm not too big on Division I AA football. I follow it somewhat, but I ain't gonna act like I'm a master Division I AA knower. So
Didn't they go
unfortunately,
into
I'm
the
not
same
too hip to
conference
VCU.
with Howard?
I don't know.
They're all in the same conference now.
I don't know.
Nah, I was.
But regardless of the
HBCU.
situation, that UNC team let the two QBs.
VCU's not HBCU.
Yeah, fuck no.
I know that. So wait, what conference are they in now?
VCU. I don't even know.
I don't even know if they got a football team, though. Like, to be honest. Like I said, I don't follow Division I AA football team.
We're gonna look up that. We're gonna look up that.
Yeah, you get on that. Look it up. But they could have a football team, but I've never seen VCU have success as the Division I AA level. So it's not even worth talking about or thinking about. But besides that,
Luckily, we
The
got
who?
computers right here. We can look it up.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. Let us know.
But yeah, all right.
But besides that, in UNC, when they played Charlotte, for some reason, they let 2 QBs throw for a combined 250 yards. Yeah, and guess how many the North Carolina quarterback had? He had like 150 yards.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's already really weird. And not to mention the top rusher in that game only had 52 yards. So
That's crazy. That is a defensive battle.
when they played TCU, they gave up 542 total yards. Their defense ranked 72nd last year in total defense, and they only had 3 returning starters so far, and it looks like their defense hasn't improved at all. Their offense really worries me from their quarterback to their running backs. Yeah, UNC looks like a big mystery on offense. That quarterback I'm not too fond of either. I think he's not too good at all. But UCF, I will admit, hasn't had too much to really show proof of anything. Like they played Jacksonville State at home.
Right.
in North Carolina A&T at home. Is everything good with the mic? I can't even hear it. Oh, now I can. It was like going out. But my bad. I was just making sure because I didn't hear it for like 10 seconds. I think it's doing it again. But, yeah. Anyways. And some might even freak out on their first game against a Jacksonville State because they only won 17-10 versus Jacksonville State, who's another Division I AA team. But keep in mind, this was a year for UCF to build and see how far this season. You sure it's on? You all can hear me. Yeah. Okay. I was just making sure. It's throwing me off a little bit because I'm going mute. It's getting hit. Yeah, everything good. It was just like, I was in hearing myself for like 20 seconds at a time. I was just making sure everything was all good. But yeah, like I was mentioning though, Jacksonville State is a Division I AA team, so that's not too. Oh no, I'm so stupid. Jacksonville State is not a Division I AA team. I'm tripping right now. My bad. That audio was throwing me off. Jacksonville State's been up a few years. They had Rich Rodriguez as their coach, and they actually were very good last year. But Rich Rodriguez left their program and went to West Virginia and took a lot of players with him. But this year, Jacksonville State hasn't looked too bad. But with that said, UCF still should pretty much a good UCF team would take it to a Jacksonville State that was in this shape. But anyways, they won by 7. But like I was trying to say, it's not too surprising because they needed time to gel. I think they had one returning starter this year. It was an offensive tackle. And they have a transfer quarterback from Indiana. That was like a backup quarterback. But he hasn't looked too bad. I think he's gone 29 for 45 with 471 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. So
that's pretty good.
Not doing too bad. And I'll also mention that last year that their offense finished 14th. So Scott Frost did have to bring in a new offensive coordinator. I feel this is a game they could continue to grow in. You know what I mean? Especially versus this North Carolina defense who looks
a little suspect.
Man, I don't even. But UCF defense was also ranked 37th in total defense last year, but kind of like their offense, they have to replace everyone but 3 starters, basically.
That's tough.
And they also have a new coordinator there as well. So, but like I said, this is a good game to gel for them as well and continue to grow in because UNC offense is not a powerful or strong offense. I don't even think they're prepared for a game on the road like this, to be honest with you. Now, so far this game, I feel like the main reason I'm siding with UCF is for 3 main reasons. I don't feel UNC is ready to compete, like I just said, in a road game of this caliber. Now, UCF isn't like anything special. They're not top caliber. But believe it or not, even though they went 4-8 last year, they were much better than that 4-8 record. Like I said, they had like a top 40 offense into top 40 defense. They just committed so many turnovers. But they're like a second tier, in my opinion, and they're growing. Right now, they might even be less than the second tier for the simple fact that they're in a rebuild year. But it's safe to say UCF is like a second tier power program. And UNC is still sadly descending, not prepared even for a game like this versus a building UCF team, in my opinion. And I would also say I would be more comfortable with the UCF quarterback leading the way than this UNC quarterback. I feel like this UNC quarterback's got a little bit more forceful and is going to make some mistakes while this.
I can see that.
This UCF quarterback doesn't have any interceptions. He has 0 interceptions this year, so I'm going to have to side with UCF in this, and I think that they're going to win by 2 possessions, to be honest with you, if not more. But we'll see what happens there.
Y'all heard it here.
Yes, sir. And I feel more comfortable with North Texas than I do UCF. But at the same time, I couldn't sleep on that UCF program. What do you think, Ty? You think that UNC is prepared for a game like this? Because you've seen them a couple times.
Well, I'm hoping, but you hear more about Bill than the players. So I don't even know, really, like
the UNC Bill Hills.
Right.
Right, like who's really on the squad,
Right.
Who they really got so far.
It's
That
more
might
drama.
it might be a cover up because they really got nobody from what I've
Right.
seen so far.
Keep them in the news.
All right, keep
You know.
talk about anything but football.
Exactly. Right now we're gonna keep focused on us.
The dumb
Not
stuff.
too much the talent level,
Then they get the talent in after that.
Because there is
Right.
no talent. So,
but I hear he might jet for Miami right after that other coach gets fired.
I don't know why.
Go right back to the NFL because his girlfriend's young.
Miami Dolphins.
His girlfriend likes Miami. That's where she belongs, probably. And,
To come back and coach your divisional rival would be nuts.
that would be nuts. But it only happens in Miami. You know that better than any of us. So,
Apparently.
yeah.
Apparently.
But let's get into this first
get it. Let's
NFL
get it. Let's get
game. It's going to be the LA Rams at Philly.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. We got to put up our perfect record right now for this game. We're 4-0 right now.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a tough one, but let's get right into it. First off, the Rams added a couple big-time players. Devontae Adams, which gives their offense more weapons. They also added Poona Ford, a D tackle. Not to mention the Rams front in the past has gave Jalen Hurts trouble. Yeah, believe it or not. Now, Philly passing attack has shown some vulnerability without some of their key players this year hurt, with their tight end kind of being beat up now. And then I think didn't Smith get a little bit beat up last week?
Yeah, he fell down on his tailbone.
Did he get right back up? Everything was good the rest of the way?
Sort of.
Right. But besides that, there's overall a little beat up at where they need to be. Not really completely done, of course, because they still got Saquon and there's many other receivers. But so far, passing the ball, he hasn't really looked like that at all. You know what I mean? Right now, he's only thrown for 252 yards in 2 games. So I only really see Jalen throwing for 150 to 175 yards max this game. After watching the Rams hold both Ward at Tennessee and C.J. Stroud from Houston to less than 200 yards. Yeah. So I don't see this being any different for Jalen, especially after they looked the first 2 weeks with the Rams secondary looking like they looking. But a few notes for LA Rams. Stafford looks like he's on a mission this year. He started this season off throwing for 543 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's killing it.
That's only through 2 games. He's also quickly building chemistry with that boy Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams already has 150 yards receiving, and he had 106 yards last week in a touchdown. So
they balling.
Yeah, you can say they gelled pretty quick. And their defense looks very strong so far, too, under second-year coordinator Chris Shula. Their secondary has been performing at an elite level so far through 2 games. They lead the league with a negative 0.15 expected points added per dropback. Now, that is a wild stat, don't get me wrong, but it's a good one of those crazy stats I kind of do look at a little bit because it kind of shows you how
productive they are.
Yeah, to score. Like how productive they're protecting to get scored against, technically. But you know what I'm saying. So I kind of look at that stat in a good way. And they're also number 2 overall in that. And success rate after 2 weeks. So, I mean, I like that
they've
stat.
Definitely been balling.
Their defense is showing real strong might and physicality.
Yeah.
They did go up against Tennessee and did go up against Houston. We did see Houston not really do too much on Tampa, I would say, even though they moved the ball a little bit. But you know how that is. So with that said, I feel this game, even though it's only week 3, might have a slight playoff feel to it. I feel it's going to be a very physical game versus 2 teams who don't like each other. Remember last year the Rams were eliminated by the Eagles in the playoffs in the second round by 1 possession where the Rams actually outgained Philly in total yards. Ain't that nuts?
That is
they
wild.
got more
that is
yards.
Very wild.
Now, what killed them in that game was there was back-to-back fumbles in the fourth quarter to start off the game. It was 17-16 at that point. And then they fumbled 2 times, not to mention in their own territory.
Yeah.
Just to start off the fourth quarter. That killed them. They did only hold them to 2 field goals, believe it or not. But regardless, that still killed them in big ways. They only also let Jalen throw for like 128 yards, but Barkley did go off with 205 on the ground. But I don't expect Barkley to do that again this game. Kind of had a good game last week, had like 80 yards and a little bit, but I just don't expect him to do this versus this Rams front. Another thing worth mentioning is Philly's coming off this Super Bowl rematch versus Philly that they just came. Versus Kansas City at Kansas City. So in my prediction, they might start out a little flat.
I can see that.
So
they've all been talking about all the Super Bowl moments and reliving all of that hype. So
yeah, they tried to make a statement
on a cloud
out
right
there.
now.
That was a high-profile game, and trust me, the Rams want that ass
for sure.
So overall, I think we will see a hard-fought game that will involve a lot of a ground game. If I played totals, I'd probably advise you to take the under in this game. I feel like there's going to be not too much passing from either. Well, we'll see the Rams pass a lot during that game. Don't get me wrong, especially if they have some success because Stafford is rolling. But you got to remember, Philly had the number 1 passing defense in the league last year. So it's not like they're really looking to pass if they don't have to.
Facts.
So I mean, you don't really want to try to have to pass
too much
versus the secondary like that. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. But even if they have to, I still see them having success because last year Matthew Stafford threw for like 325 yards on them. So
that's a good game.
Yeah,
it's a real good game.
He'll have confidence to go up against this.
And now he has a little bit of an upgrade at the wide receiver spot.
Exactly. Definitely does with that boy Devontae Adams coming in. And what's that other dude's name?
Puka Nacua.
Yeah, that's your favorite player.
He's not my favorite player.
Yeah, he is. But they're looking really strong together as well this year. Trust me.
I think Puka got hurt.
What, he got hurt last week?
I think so. Knock on wood. I swear he did.
You might be right. I got to double check to see.
I don't know if it's like.
But I'll be honest. Even if he is hurt,
it was like a game.
I'm not really tripping on that. I'm gonna still take them. So
okay.
Yeah. Right. I'm gonna definitely take them still. And Barkley will probably get a lot of rushes, but I don't know how successful he'll be. So I'm not sure how that'll go. I think might get like at the most 60 to 80 yards, but I don't see him exceeding 80 yards. But quarterback play and defensive stops will be key here. And after the team grabs the early lead, I think it will be tough for them to play catch up. You know what I mean? For Philly in this situation. So I feel like the Rams will probably won't turn the ball over like they did last year during the playoffs as well. And this year they'll come out on top with much, much motivation to get this revenge game and create confidence for the rest of the year. So I'm looking for the Rams plus 3.5, if not on the money line. I mean, definitely both, but if you want to play it safe, you can play plus 3.5. But we're going to go money line on most plays. So just keep that in mind. Now, the final game we're going to get into is Pittsburgh at New England. New England's minus 1.5. Actually, now I see Pittsburgh's minus 1.5. But that's not really scaring me too much. But on Monday, it was New England minus 1.5. First off, it's safe to say A-Rod was overhyped the first week and picked on a weak Jets secondary, which is awful. He also he basically went 22 for 30 for 243 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 picks for the Jets. But last week he went 18 for 33 with only 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. The running backs also continue to show no sign of improvement. Warren only had 48 yards. Gainwell had only 20 yards.
That's
Guess how many rushing touchdowns they had? You know how many rushing touchdowns they had?
You already said it. 1.
No, 0.
0.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about this year.
Okay, got you. Yeah,
That was
yeah,
last year
yeah.
combined. Yeah, so they got 0 so far this year. And I mean 0 last week. Pittsburgh's defense was no better, giving up 295 yards to Darnold, and they let Walter gain over 100 yards. So both their offense and defense seem that they're still in big trouble, especially their defense and run game. Now, New England looked exactly how I thought they would versus Miami, to be honest with you. I did expect them to play defense better and not allow as many points. I thought kind of that game would be low scoring overall. But that's why I said I don't really play totals, so I don't really depend on that too much. But May went 19 for 23 with 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. The running game was a little concerned as expected, with Stevenson only having a game-high 54 yards. But May had 31 yards rushing along with a rushing touchdown, which kind of maybe improving the rush game a little bit, for a team overall, giving them a little bit more of a threat. I didn't really know Drake had that in him. But like I said, I expected New England defense to have a better game and not allow for them to throw for over 300 yards. But the rush defense lived up to their potential and held Miami's top rusher to 30 yards. And this week, facing Pittsburgh, I feel they're playing a team with very similar offenses to their first 2 opponents, which is a weak rush game with somewhat of a passing game. So if they only let up 1 rush touchdown to Gentry in week 1, I don't think they even let up 0. I think they let up 0 last week. So I expect Pittsburgh to really struggle in the red zone and have 0 rushing touchdowns as well. Pittsburgh hasn't won in New England since November 30th, 2008, when they won 33-10. Ain't that nuts?
That is wild.
They haven't won there since 2008. Tom Brady was out with an injury, by the way. They played Matt Castle when they got back. Or they probably wouldn't even have got that. So they don't have no success really up there at Gillette. I know this is nowhere near that New England team.
That's scary.
Man, that's mental. It's going to be big. The other thing is after Pittsburgh plays New England, they head off to Dublin. They head off to Ireland. So that could be somewhat of a distraction. Yeah. But overall, I see Pittsburgh's rush game continue to struggle, while A-Rod also has a subpar game. Right now, New England is the third best rush defense in the league, even though it's only through 2 weeks. But I feel they will stay up there as well as not let up a rushing touchdown to this Pittsburgh team. What's scary is New England is actually dead last in defensive pass yards right now. But I expect that to improve versus A-Rod this week. And now they have at least 2 games to study film on A-Rod and really how that's working. So I feel they will hold A-Rod to, like I said, a subpar, if not maybe an average overall. Maybe not because an average true A-Rod performance might be good enough. But I'm talking about an average quarterback. Gotcha. Your average primetime A-Rod performance, but your average, who's a good, Sam Darnold performance or something like that.
Gotcha.
But I don't really have a good vision on how this game's going to go. I can't really tell you play by play and stuff, and you know what I mean?
For sure.
The exact score, some of the games I more feel like I can. But Pittsburgh's struggling defense and run game, and with the bad history at Gillette, along with the trip to Ireland coming up, I feel this is a perfect spot for New England. So we're going to definitely go with New England again this week. We had to run it back with 2 teams this week. That was New England and North Texas so far. You think you like when we run it back like that, Ty, with them 2 teams? We should stay on them, right?
Yeah, stay on them.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you a little bit of advice, too, or a little bit of, I think it's advice. You see 2 teams like this. New England had a very bad year last year, bad couple years. Mm-hmm. This year they're kind of building, but they're not as much of an example of what I'm trying to say as the North Texas team is. This North Texas team hasn't had a winning year or maybe one in the past 5 years. So they're very much what you call under the radar. So the market really doesn't play them like they should. And like I was telling you, when you have a team like North Texas going up against each other, who's really an elite team, in my opinion, for the American Conference and what they're in, the same conference as the Army, who last year was an elite team.
Right.
So the market's still kind of caught up in last year so far. Because like I said, if they do lose, in that Kansas State win that Army had that they maybe shouldn't even have had versus a real weak-looking Kansas State team so far, that line would be way higher. It'd be like North Texas, probably like -5.5 or 6.5.
True.
So you got to keep that in mind. So, yeah, right now, Ty, we're hitting 2 teams, in my opinion, that are under the market or under the radar, and the market's not giving them proper value for what they are so far. And those are the best type of teams to hit. Doesn't really happen as much in NFL because they usually catch up quickly, the market, I'd say. But sometimes when you have some of these lower conference teams in college football, you can really catch one of them and kind of roll with them for most of the year. But you just never. I can't promise you that I'm going to roll with North Texas a lot this year yet because I'm a week-by-week type guy and got to see different type of matchups and who they're playing, of course. But I wouldn't. It wouldn't. I'm guessing North Texas could have a good percentage to be on here again. I don't think this is going to be the final time we give out.
This will not be the last time that you hear him give out North Texas.
Right.
In a future. No, we're not calling them future plays. In a weekend play.
At the same time, you can't fall too much in love with them and be biased.
Of course.
That's the problem.
Of course.
You know. But here, there's no bias.
But
this
what's
is
wrong with riding the wave?
A great opportunity.
You know what I'm saying?
You said what?
What's wrong with riding the wave? You know what I'm saying? We can hop on their surfboard real quick.
Oh, we are.
You know what I mean?
We're hopping on the Mean Green wave right now.
Let's do it.
But I'm hoping we don't have to give New England back out because I'm not liking having to play them back-to-back. I like my college selections a little bit more than my NFL selections this week. Okay. Even though we're 4-0 in the NFL, I'm a little nervous compared to the college selections. Well, I feel real good about the college ones. I can almost guarantee you those are 2 locks. But the NFL ones, those are pretty much locks. But notice how I said pretty much instead of are. Yeah. But
well, hey, only one thing or nothing left to it but to do it. So I say let's do it.
Oh, we did it. Because like I said during the review section last week, during the last review section
for last week.
Bad.
Yeah,
exactly. These grunts is getting to me.
Got them.
We're sitting at a total of $959.82 after being down 100 after NCAA week 1. Mm-hmm. But we got the loan from Ty, and now we're rolling again, like I mentioned. This time we're going to put up 500 and put $459.82 in the bank until next week, just in case. The way we got to that, too, is we had another $9.55 in the cut that we put away, so we added that to the profit. So right now we're putting in the bank $459.82, and then we're putting up $500 like I just mentioned. Hopefully we can add to the bank instead of having to go to it again to get more next week. But we have 3 parlays once again. The first one I'm going to give out's a 14 parlay. That's North Texas -1.5 at -114. UCF -6.5 at -118. New England money line at +100. And the LA Rams +3.5 at -112. $100 wins you $1,212.90. So that four-teamer pays wonderful. The next is a nice 2-teamer. That's UCF -6.5 at -118, and New England money line at +100. 150 profits you $404.24. So that's a nice one if the other 2 don't go well. And the final one that we're giving out is the nice lock, I feel, of all locks. That's the LA Rams money line at +150 and North Texas at -1.5 at -114. $250 profits you $923.25. Once again, we're 5-2 overall in college football, 4-0 in the NFL. So I really don't know why you wouldn't get down with these 3 plays. So those are the 3 parlays, and I have a good feeling we're hitting all 3 again.
Let's do it. Yeah. Let's do it.
We definitely are.
More money in the
We
bank.
getting up.
More money in the tank.
This is rack time.
Rack it up.
Yeah.
Let's
right now we was at hundreds time. Now it's gonna be at racks time after this.
Let's do it. That's the beautiful thing about this.
Make sure it adds up. But that's how we do. And you should have been getting down, and you could be profiting too. Your pockets would be feeling good. Ty's pockets feeling better. TJ's pockets feeling better.
Yes, sir.
Both of them alive for some good money this weekend once again, because that's how we're rocking every weekend. So just keep that in mind. You can get with the movement too, and it's all free. I don't know who else giving you this great plays and this free money, but I know we are over here. So definitely tune in. I'm telling you right now, if you tell somebody about us and they start tuning in, they're going to thank you, maybe for life. So just keep that in mind. So,
big facts.
With that said, that's all we really have for this segment of for the day. But let me let them know a few more plays I'm leaning towards this week. On Friday, I'm already looking at this Rutgers plus 2.5. They play Iowa at home. I'm not too big on it, but let's just say it might not be an official play. But check me out Friday to definitely see if it is on Instagram, Best Picks in DMV. Now, on Saturday, so far, I'm looking at Miami of Ohio at plus 2.5, Ole Miss at minus 13.5, Indiana minus 5.5, Virginia minus 15.5. Might get a little wild with ECU plus 6.5, and then them Southern Miss Golden Eagles, I got to ride them at plus 3.5 right now. And I don't think I'm being biased at all towards that one either. They're a team under the radar. I feel that you're going to get big money on. Remember, that was their first Division I win since November something in 2023.
That's crazy.
The market's not caught up. They have the Marshall head coach, bro, that just won the Sun Belt Championship with the same quarterback that did the same thing with the coach, bro. They're not a 0-11 Division I team. Trust me. And they kind of proved that. Not versus the most powerful Appalachian State team, but they handled them pretty good, much more than I even expected. I took them, but that was way more comfortable than I thought it was going to be. So
that's what's
I think a few more might be in this starting this Saturday. I mean, not starting, but again, this Saturday might be another example of that. But for the NFL, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's probably tonight on Thursday, Buffalo minus 11.5 versus that weak-ass Miami team. You remember that Miami team, Ty, that was just terrible that we were just talking about these last 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yep.
They got to go up against Josh Allen.
On a short week in Buffalo.
Damn.
It's not the winner.
Luckily, it ain't cold yet.
It ain't the winner.
They ain't got
but it's still Buffalo.
Yeah. It's a
Miami
tough place to have to go in and
on
play.
3 days rest. Knowing your coach is getting fired, and like I said, it's a circus show. But I will admit, it doesn't look like they're quitting on that, man. They fought for that game last week.
They did. They tried.
I can't fake on him. I mean, I can't fake on their effort for that game. They could have pulled that off.
Facts.
But 2 other games on Sunday I'm probably leaning towards are the Bears versus the Cowboys. It's at Chicago. I think they might get that done. And then Arizona at San Francisco money line. I got to study that game way more and also pay attention to the injuries for San Francisco.
That's important.
But I think I'm going to lean Arizona regardless of what I hear. That's what's crazy.
Okay.
And then Monday, I'm going to probably cap it off with the Ravens. You remember who they play on Monday, TJ? You might be thrown off a little bit. I know there's been a lot.
I do not remember off the top of my head.
What's funny, too, is I do want to mention this game because I came real close to this being the second game that we studied instead of giving them back to New England. I mean, putting New England back out.
Yeah.
It was going to be Baltimore. It should have been Baltimore, even if New England does cover, because I feel like this might be way more comfortable of a cover. But they're going up against them Lions. And, yes, the Lions did look decent last week, but they played the Bears. And they did destroy the Bears and score 50-plus points on them. And Baltimore's defense looks like they can be scored on, too. like we saw
Unfortunately.
Buffalo do onto them. But
Yeah, but that's Buffalo.
exactly.
Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. The Lions is the Lions, and they was nasty last year, but
I feel
they ain't Josh Allen nasty.
Right. And I feel like Baltimore also is going to try to make a statement after that letdown the first week after blowing that lead like that. So definitely leaning probably towards Baltimore capping off a nice weekend on Monday.
Okay.
Even though Monday is the first weekday, but you know what I'm
Got
saying.
you. Yeah.
So
The
one
sports
more
is
time,
themed.
make sure you follow me on Instagram, Best Picks in DMV. My Facebook book as well. Now we're on TikTok. Ty got us on TikTok, Best Picks in DMV. So definitely check me out there. If you have any questions, like I say, you can DM me on any 3 of those social media platforms. Or you can email me, like I've been saying, at bestpicksindmv@yahoo.com. Make sure if you haven't, definitely like, comment, subscribe, and follow. But like I've been saying the past couple of weeks, we got to turn to TJ right here. And he got to let you know so far about the WNBA playoffs and who he got to win it. We're going to take a little bit of, not too long, but we're going to take a little bit of time to discuss who you might want to give that out on Thursday and who you got winning it all.
All right, so we can just jump into it. I ain't going to hold y'all too long, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, there's a game going on right now, if I'm not mistaken. So Minnesota and Golden State, y'all know I'm rolling with Minnesota, you know what I'm saying? Los Lynx, that's how we rocking. I got the Liberty advancing, and Aces advancing, and Atlanta advancing all into the second round of 5.
Now for they play on Thursday night, 7:30. So the first line I see is Indiana and Atlanta, like you said, and you said you like Atlanta to move on. They're favored by 7.5. So who you liking that? You like Atlanta covering that spread though? You think they're gonna blow them out like that?
Is Atlanta home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we give you Atlanta, and then you said you had Seattle, or you said you had Vegas moving on. Surprisingly, that's the same line, -7.5. Do you trust Vegas to settle?
I'd go
that?
money line on Vegas just because I do.
You
Seattle's
gonna put
like
on the -400, or
Yeah.
you just gonna leave them out?
Well, then what's the other one? Phoenix, Mercury, New York, Liberty.
Nah, yeah, the final line, and this is where we disagree, is I like Phoenix in that game. Phoenix is -2.5 versus the Liberty, and this game takes place.
Stewie just
I think
came back.
Saturday. No, what's September? Today's September 17th. So yeah, why they play? It says 1:00 on Friday.
That might be right. Yeah, they be having some weird times.
I
Yeah.
don't believe
might
it.
be
I think
right.
that they got the wrong time right now, but it could be. Who knows? It is like they said the WNBA, so you can expect anything. But who the hell would have a 1:00 Friday playoff game?
They don't want nobody to go to that game.
Right.
That's why.
And it's in Phoenix. That time's definitely not right. But
That shouldn't
they're
be.
not playing at 10 in the morning.
Yeah, that
They
would
go
be
by
crazy.
they go by West Coast time out there, right?
Yeah. Phoenix here.
Or do they go by
Central.
Mountain? I think they might go by Mountain, to be honest with you.
But that's that one gentleman in the middle.
But yeah, my bad. Usually I do know these automatically, but right now Arizona's that one state that kind of throws me off. But I think it is West Coast. Yeah, because usually they start at 10, but I swear sometimes I see them Phoenix teams starting at like 9:30 or 9. But I could be tripping. It probably is West Coast time now. But anyways, with that said, you like the Liberty to move on in that?
I do.
So you just like the Liberty at +115. Those two right there, if you take the Dream -7.5 and the Liberty, just those two, you put up 100, that profits you 310. So that's a nice +300. So we're going to give TJ that -7, Atlanta -7.5, and Liberty money line official play for the podcast. And that's Liberty money line at +115. Like I said, I'll let you know off the break. We differ in that Liberty and Phoenix game, but we'll see how that goes.
Indeed,
Now,
we
for the
shall.
futures, though, who you think's going to win it all? We're going to give out his future right now.
Minnesota Lynx, Nafisa Collier for Finals MVP.
Unfortunately, I don't think I can see the MVP lines right now. But if he's going with the favorite, he thinks it's going to be chalky this year in the WNBA. It's at minus 130. So you're not getting too much value. You might want to even put that in a parlay somewhere, maybe in a play this weekend with us, and let that thing pan out. And like, you know what I'm saying? Future bet with Minnesota Lynx minus 130 is TJ's official WNBA future play.
Letting y'all know.
At minus 130. We definitely had to let him shout that out. Is there any other comments you want to make about these WNBA playoffs so far before because we're going to update it next week too.
Yeah, we can definitely do that
real quick and just
so
let you know.
Obviously, like I said, we should have did this probably like a little before it actually all got started or whatever. So we could have did the beginning or whatever. We kind of getting into like the middle of the beginning, but it's all good. A lot of good ball being played. Shout out to the WNBA. They doing their thing. And yeah, for those of y'all that's been watching, y'all know. You know what I'm saying? This is I don't want to say it's simple, but yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. We definitely should have started it probably last week, but it's hard to get these lines.
I know, because it wasn't even the lines. They didn't even have
the matchups fully in set right by the time. That's what I'm saying. So it's kind of even hard to get the lines, even if we wanted to do it, even if they had the matchup set. Because I think when was the first game? Saturday,
Sunday. Yeah, Sunday was the first game.
Yeah, one of them days. Either way, it would have been tough to get that by Wednesday. So we kind of got screwed with the time frame for that.
It is what it is.
But it is the middle of the first round. There's still every team basically involved but one who got eliminated tonight, the Golden State Valkyrie. Yeah, I think. Are they still playing, actually?
They might be, but I think they're losing.
No, I take that back. Once again, a shocker. Golden State's up 10 right now versus Minnesota.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, they're looking to also. Actually, did Indiana get. No.
Indiana tied it up.
Yeah, so all of them are going to a game 3 if Golden State pains.
Oh, yeah, just so y'all know, Golden State was round. The second round is the best of 5. So the first round is best of 3. Okay. Second round is best of 5.
Same
Finals championship is best of 7.
They go 7 in the championship?
The first year that they're doing it this way.
Damn. That's what I was about to say. I didn't think they did that.
Yeah, let me put that out there. So
you like that it's going 7?
I do, actually. I think that they should have been doing this. This kind of reminds me of the old NBA a little bit before they made every Jonas 7-game series.
Man, I feel you on that. What was crazy, like I was telling you the other day, though, what's the main player on, like I said, TJ's the WNBA expert. So forgive me for my ignorance for whatever I say towards the WNBA. But who's the star player for Minnesota?
Nafisa Collier.
Yeah, I heard like in the beginning of December or beginning of what's this month? September. I think it was beginning of August. She was like minus like 400 to win the WNBA, or it might have been like minus like 300. Something crazy.
To win MVP.
Yeah, but. What's Aja Wilson?
Aja Wilson kind of caught up to her.
Yeah, she was plus 100. I mean, she was 100. I'm sorry, not plus 100. She was plus 1,000. She was 100 to 1 to win it all.
Yeah, she been balling, man.
She was plus 10,000. My bad.
She's been balling. She's brought the Aces
now
back
she's minus. Like now she's minus 400.
Now they're in the second spot.
Yeah, she gonna win it. But that's crazy. You could have got her at that, even though, like you said, she got injured early. They got off to a weak start. Me personally, I think that's who's probably going to win it.
You think the Aces?
Yeah, bro. They're back to nice action. So
well, I'm going to tell y'all that those are my 2 finals picks. It's going to be the Minnesota Lynx versus the Aces in the finals. But that's just my 2 picks.
What's crazy, too, is I was just looking at these lines, and they're literally changing during the game for the future lines, which is wild. I do watch future lines a lot, but I don't look to them. Usually they're not offered. Nowadays they offer them during live games, and I just seen them at plus 240 to win the WNBA championship.
That's wild.
But since they're losing to Golden State by 10 in the fourth, now they're up to 300. I'm ready to hit them right now before it goes back down to plus 220. So with that said, that's who I got at plus 300. Ty, you got any last words?
Oh, nah. Just listen to the bets. Stay tuned. But I think Aces probably win too.
You like the Aces?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ty's official plays the Aces. If we get it right now, it's plus 300. So our official plays, Vegas plus 300, me and Ty. Minnesota went up to minus 140.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We ain't never scared. Y'all know what it is.
Yeah, so definitely keep that in mind. But we'll update them WNBA plays next week and see where we stand. I like what me and Ty are thinking, I ain't gonna lie. But make sure that you, like I said, follow me on Instagram one more time. That's where all the official plays on Instagram are. 15 and 14 in NCAA football, and 5 and 2 on NFL. And the goal's always to go over 56.5%. And me personally, like I've been telling you, I feel like I'm going to go over 60. So we'll definitely catch y'all next week, and hopefully it's another very profitable week.
Well, y'all know what it is. Another episode of the Best Picks in the DMV podcast. His name is Gabe. My name is TJ. Ty on the ones and twos. Shout out Virgil Media Network for another great production. And we out, y'all. Peace.